Assalamualaikum, students of grade 7 Matric of Mid-City School. Welcome to first chapter. Previously we have discussed about classification of animals. So in vascular plants have tissues that act like tubes to transport water. So they have tissues that are help to transport water. But this is not the case with non-vascular plants. Non-vascular plants do not have tissues. They also lack water to transport, lack a water transport system because they don't have tissues. So they don't have a system that can actually help to circulate the water in them. They have no true roots, which means that they are actually a part of the branch of the bark of the tree. They don't have true roots in the soil, and they live near water because they absorb water from the surroundings, as they cannot actually directly transport water because they lack the tissues. Today we will be discussing about the classification of plants. Plants are basically categorized into two main groups of vascular and non-vascular. Now if we are talking about vascular plants, we have two basic categories, that is seed plants and seedless plants. When we are talking about seedless plants, they reproduce by seeds. If you open up your books to page number 38, you can find the table. This is a very descriptive table which you can see, and it is going to help you a lot. For example, the other name for flowering plants is angiosperms. They are enclosed in fruits. For example, peaches, they are enclosed in fruits. The seed is inside, and they have flowers, and they also have they are flowers and they are also non-flowering plants. They are both. Another name for gymnosperms, not enclosed in fruits, no flowers. So about non-flowering plants, their other name is gymnosperms. They do not enclose in fruits and they have no flowers. They are opposite of the flowering plants, obviously. Now coming up to seedless plants, they do not produce flowers and seeds. They reproduce by spores. Now if we talk about classifying animals, we can see that we have different categories in which we have vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates are animals with backbones, and invertebrates are animals without backbones, and they have joint legs. Here in front of us are some examples of vertebrates. For example, fish, reptile and birds. We can see their characteristics. They are cold-blooded. For example, we are talking about fish. They are cold-blooded. They have scales on their skins. They have gills which they use for breathing. They don't have regular lungs like humans, like mammals, and they have fins and tails, and they have a streamlined body. They do not have a structure like animals or human beings. Now coming up to reptiles. Reptiles have lungs. They have dry and scaly skin, and they are cold-blooded. Crocodiles are an example of reptile. When we're talking about birds, these are all the categories of the birds. You can also find these in your book. These are all the categories of vertebrates which you can also find in your book. When we're talking about a bird, we know that it has beak, it has wings, it has beaks, it has feathers, and it is warm-blooded. When we're talking about invertebrates with joint legs, we are talking about basically arthropods. They are the insects, millipedes, centipedes, arachnids, and crustaceans. Let's talk about the insects. Insects have 3 pairs of legs. They have 3 pairs of legs, mean that they have 6 legs in total. 3 body segments. For example, when we draw an ant, we draw 3 segments of the body. First the head we draw, then we draw the main body, then we draw the lower body. So this is the segmentation of an insect, and it has a pair of antennae. It's just exactly like an ant. Now talking about crustaceans, they have 2 pairs of antennae. That means they have 4 antennas, and they have gills and live in water. So this is the characteristics which you can again find in your book as well. Alright, so as we were discussing earlier, arachnids, centipedes, millipedes are also an example, and here in front of you are their characteristics. Arachnids have four pair of legs. That means they have 8 legs, and they do not have any antenna. Centipedes have one pair of antenna. That means they have two antennas, one on the left side of their head and one on the other on the right side of their head. They have many legs, and they also have one body segmentation. Millipedes have one pair of antenna and they have many legs with two pair on each body segment. If we are talking about invertebrates without joined legs, then we have molluscs, we have sponges, we have echinoderms, we have flatworms, we have roundworms, we have annelids. Let's talk about molluscs. They have unsegmented bodies. They have that means that they have only one part of their body that is complete whole. They don't have their body divided into different segments, different parts. They have a separate mouth and an anus. They have soft bodies with a hard shell to protect them, and they have different various organs. Let's talk about sponges. Sponges live in water, and they do not have true organs. Annelids have organs. They have a separate mouth and an anus, and their bodies are divided into many different portions, that is segments. Cnidarians do not have true organs. Again, they don't have true organs. They attack their prey with stinging threads. When we are saying that they don't have true organs, that means they don't have lungs, they don't have proper organs that human beings have or other animals have. Alright, so talking further about invertebrates without joined legs, we have roundworms, echinoderms, and we have flatworms. When we are talking about roundworms, we should know that they have round unsegmented bodies. That means that they have their entire body as a whole, and they have organs, and they have a separate mouth and an anus. Now let's talk about echinoderms. Echinoderms have spines, or they have bumps on their skins to protect them. They have a 5-way radial symmetry. For example, the starfish. We all know that a starfish has 5 symmetry proper system. They have organs but no heads, and they have a separate mouth and anus. Flatworms. Now flatworms have flat. They are flat and they have unsegmented bodies. They have proper organs, and food and waste enter and exit through the same opening. So that means that their mouth and their anus are actually the same. Alright, thank you students. The chapter and the lecture both have finished. Remember to study well from your book.